This video might seem a tiny bit early to actually be discussing things, but our system works really is wanting to make sure Guilty Gear Strive has new content as freaking fast as feasibly possible. They've actually shown what actually is going to be in the first season for Guilty Gear Strive, actually showing off that there's going to be 5 total characters, new skin colors, a brand new story. Ha ha ha. Can't wait. The first DLC character will be unveiled in July, and the second one will be tossed in August. The other 3 still do not have the release dates announced, but we're not quite focused on them quite yet. We gotta get through the other ones first. Having actual DLC characters being put into a game this quickly is just phenomenal. The actual reasoning behind the characters' early release dates is probably most likely going to be because Guilty Gear Strive was initially delayed, and this seems like probably the actual DLC plans they originally had when the game was supposed to come back in April. So right now it actually seems pretty fast turnaround for DLC, but if the game came out in April, it makes a lot more sense. But regardless, I'm not complaining, people aren't complaining, and that's actually what we're talking about today! We're actually talking about who I think the DLC characters are going to be. Works has said that one character will be a brand new playable character, not playable in any other Guilty Gear title. One will be a returning character from other titles, and the other 3 still know nothing about. So I'm going to be going over characters I think do not really have a gigantic chance of being in, characters that don't have much of a chance. We're going to talk about characters that are probably going to be going in, characters that have a guarantee coming in the game, and then I'll also say which actual 5 characters I think is going to be in the game. Now, also too, this is just an opinion. I could be completely and utterly wrong, but again too, this is just for fun. Away we go. So the characters that have a very, very unlikely chance of actually getting this game, and it's literally nearly unfeasible: King Daryl, Robo-Kai, Zappa, Justice, Bedman, and the President of the United States. Now, the characters that it's very hard to actually tell whether they will or will not be in the game. These characters being Jacko and/or Arya, Asuka, Venom, Slayer, Answer, Raven, and Gem. Now, these are the characters I think actually do have a very strong chance of getting the game. They are not 100% guaranteed, but these characters I think are very, very fucking likely. These characters are Dizzy, Elfelt, Sin, Johnny, and Biken. And at last, the characters that are going to be put into this game. And those characters are Happy, Chaos, and Dickinson. So these are characters I think are probably most prevalent to actually be DLC characters. But now let's actually go over the list. Starting with the characters that probably will not actually be put in this game. King Daryl and the President. Yeah, sorry, they're not really fighters as much as they are absolutely fantastic characters. I don't think there's any real way we're actually going to see them implemented into Strive. Robo-Kai, highly doubtful just because just the way it was left off. He really does actually have a body currently to fight, and it seems like his story is pretty much finished. Bedman, if you've also seen the other stories, you've actually seen that this character is probably not making it into this game for very obvious reasons. The guy's fucking dead. Zappa. Zappa is going to be similar to Robo-Kai, where his story is not really meant for fighting, and it's more of a just supporting character that's not really meant to actually fight. And Justice. I think Justice is a very unlikely character to actually be put into this for many obvious reasons. Most likely just because we've had so many iterations that are very similar to Justice, and I don't really think Justice fits too well into Guilty Gear Strive. Now the characters that do have a slight chance of making the game, but it is not guaranteed. Those characters being Jacko / Arya, Venom, and Raven. These characters really don't need to be fighting anymore in Guilty Gear Strive. They're in a very good spot. At the very ending, Venom actually is more relaxed and more calm, and has actually gone on to have a brand new, nice, civilized career. Where Jacko and Arya and Raven, I think, are a bit more peaceful, and I think more unlikely to actually be in this. Asuka. I don't really think Asuka is really meant to actually be fighting in Guilty Gear Strive. He didn't really fight too much in the story, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense for him to actually fight a lot. As crazy as it sounds, the story actually matters, and the actual continuity of if these characters should really be fighting Strive or not does influence the actual design. Gem and Answer. These characters also have an issue actually be put into Strive. They're more of supporting characters, and I really don't think they really actually have a crazy spot in Strive. I have not seen these characters will not actually get into the game. It's just a lot more unlikely. Now the characters actually have a very strong chance of getting the game. Elfet, Dizzy, Sin. Yeah. I really do not need to go too far into this to actually explain why these characters in particular would be in the game. These characters are related to Soul and Remlethal and Kai, and actually play a gigantic part into their lore and everything. And then there's also the fact too that we still do have an upcoming story later to be announced. I think it's very likely to see these characters put in there and be actually main characters in that story. Johnny and Biken, these characters people crazily want in this game. It makes very tiny sense not to put these characters in the game when there is a crazy amount of demand. I also don't think these characters wouldn't fit into the story too, as well as we've seen Johnny actually working with May and the Jellyfish Pirates, and Biken again. It makes a lot of sense, especially if Faust could be an antagonist, but anyways. Now, the characters that are coming into the game: Happy Chaos and Dickinson. Story plays a huge part in the game, and as we've seen, Happy Chaos and Dickinson played huge parts in the story. Happy Chaos being the new main antagonist in Guilty Gear Strive, he's going to be in the game. Dickinson has a very unique design, and he's not just a generic looking character. They put a lot of time and effort into him, and he looks like he actually has a different character model than a lot of the other characters. They did not just make this character for the sake of making this character. He is going to be put in the game because he took a lot of fucking manpower to make. That's why I think every character is standing. So what are the 5 characters I think that are going to be put in the game? Happy Chaos, Elfit, Dickinson, Sin, and Dizzy. I think Happy Chaos and Elfit are going to be the first ones released. I think the main 3 is going to be Dickinson, Sin, and Dizzy, because I think that Sin and Dizzy will play an important part. Same for Elfit, but Elfit will be kind of trying to get everyone ready for the story. I think she'll actually play a part in story too. I personally think that we're not going to see Biken and Johnny right now. I don't think Biken and Johnny are going to be in this season pass. Biken in particular, people fucking want this character horribly, and I would not be surprised if we don't get her right away, literally to make sure there's actually interest remaining in Guilty Gear Strive. People really wanted Jiren and Ultra Instinct Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta in Dragon Ball FighterZ, and we literally didn't get Jiren until Season Pass 2, Ultra Instinct Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta until Season 3, and when Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta got announced, it was such a huge fucking announcement. Even though people really wanted the character, people didn't actually expect the character to actually be put into Dragon Ball FighterZ. So I think it's not surprising to actually keep some characters out of the game right now. But I think those current 5 have a very high likelihood of being put in the game. But anyways, that's the video. Thank you all for watching. Please leave comments down below telling me who you actually think is going to be DLC. Please go check Twitter. Please go check Twitch. And just remember, Ninja can forward close your house.